Hi all, today we will learn a lesson called We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together from grade 11. Let's go through with the lesson. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan, 6, daughter Suzanne, 7, and I set from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamt of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer, and for the past 16 years, we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills in British waters. Here, the narrator wanted to do a voyage, means a sea journey with his family. So he has got a wife Mary, son Jonathan, daughter Suzanne. To duplicate means duplicate is nothing but copying. Whom he was copying. He was copying a person called Captain James. Who is Captain James? He was the one who made the same trip 200 years earlier. So they wanted to do the trip around the world just like Captain James. And he was also saying that he had spent almost his leisure time honing our seafaring skills. Means honing means nothing but improving. Seafaring skills means traveling by sea in the British waters. In the British waters means within the seas of his own country called Great Britain. Our boat, Wave Walker, a 23-meter, 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. Here he was giving the description of the boat. The boat's name is Wave Walker. It is of 23 meters length with 30-ton weight. And he was saying the boat is made of wood and they took months of time to build the boat. And they have also tested the boat in the roughest weather. As I told you earlier, they sailed in the British water to gain the experience of traveling in the roughest weathers, so that if they face any real-time challenges or hardships, they should know how to withstand and overcome them. The next paragraph. The first leg of our planned 3-year, 105 kilometers journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Weasel and Swiss Herb Siegler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the Southern Indian Ocean. So here the first leg means first part. Actually, they planned the world trip in 3 phases, and the first phase is of 3 years, and the distance they traveled was 105,000 kilometers. They started from Africa and reached Cape Town. They said the voyage was so peaceful. And the second phase, they had to go ahead towards east, and they claimed this is the roughest sea route. So they recruited 2 crewmen. One is American Larry and the second one is Swiss Siegler to help them out. On the second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. For the next few weeks, they blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters, as high as our main mast. After leaving Cape Town, on their second day, they started facing heavy winds. It blew for weeks continuously. Here the narrator was saying that he was not bothered about the gales. Gales means wind. But the size of the waves scared him. How high they were? They were 15 meters high, and they were as high as mast. What is mast? Mast is a tall pole in the ship to which jibs are connected, as you can see in this image. December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, we had a wonderful holiday complete with Christmas tree. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon, and it did change for the worse. Finally, it was 25th of December. It was Christmas. By that time, where were they? They were 3,500 kilometers away from Cape Town. Though the weather was not so supportive, they celebrated the Christmas with a Christmas tree. And on the eve of New Year, they was expecting some improvement in the weather. See, we humans always expect some improvement in our lives in the coming days. Likewise, they were expecting some improvement. Yes, fortunately, there was an improvement, but it is not for good. Unfortunately, the situation has become worse. At dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. We were sailing with only a small storm jib and were still making 8 knots. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless enormous seas rolling towards us, and the screaming of the wind and the spray was painful to the ears. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. Then we double lashed everything, went through our life raft drill, attached lifeliness, donned oilskins and life jackets, and waited. Adding fuel to fire early in the morning on Jan 2, the waves were gigantic. Gigantic means enormous. We were sailing with a small storm jib. What is the meaning of storm jib? As you can see in the image, storm jib is a rectangular staysail set forward the mast. We already discussed about mast, right? The pole which is in a vertical shape in the ship. In front of the mast portion, this storm jib is attached, as you can see in the picture. Here the writer was saying that the storm jib they had in the ship was a smaller one. Still the ship was moving with 8 knots speed. Knot is the unit speed measured equal to a mile. Knot is used for measuring the sea trips. And the writer was also saying that whenever their ship was mounting on a wave, they could see the total sea was rolling towards them, and the force of the wind even hurt their ears. With such a massive force, the wind was blowing. To slow down the boat, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. Then we double lashed everything, went through our life raft drill, attached life lines, donned oilskins and life jackets, and waited. Firstly, heavy moor means a fat rope or a chain in a loop. Loop is a round shape produced by knotting the rope, like here you can see on the screen. Across the stern, stern means the backward part of ship. Here the ship was sailing fast and going out of control, so they dropped a heavy rope tied with an anchor, and that rope is tied to the stern of the ship, so that the anchor which is dropped into the water hooks into a water seabed or else somewhere and reduces the ship's speed. Then they double lashed. Double lash means, lashing means tying. So they have tied all the things twice because they are scared of losing things. They tied all the things twice, went through life raft drill. That means they worked out some life-saving drills and exercises they practiced earlier. Then donned oilskins means, donned means wore. Oilskins means oily waterproofs, and life jackets, and they were waiting to face the cyclone. That's all for today. We'll finish the lesson in the next part.